Back at the Metrodome, our Class C state championship. Jim Gilliland back with you. 7-7 at halftime. Mahnomen and Mankato Loyola. Deja vu. It's easy for you to say. Deja vu for some of you fans, followers of these two teams who were in the Prep Bowl championship a year ago. Let's take a look back at a Prep Bowl gone by.
This is a Prep Bowl memory, 1991, the Class C final, matching unbeaten Mahnomen from the far north against the Mankato Loyola Crusaders, a surprise finalist with 4 regular season losses. In the early going, it's Jason Miller of Mahnomen, and remember that name because number 22 had an historic afternoon. He races in for a touchdown, 51 yards in all, getting Mahnomen off to a 7-0 lead. Quarterback Colin Rogness of the Crusaders had trouble all day. Here, Kyle Lacey breaks through for the sack, stopping a Mankato Loyola drive. In the second quarter, Miller in slow motion, showing the form that would bring him a record 252 yards rushing on the day. Here, a cutback and a long 30-yard gainer deep into Crusader territory. And it's Miller again, crashing through, breaking tackles, and scoring the touchdown to give Mahnomen a 14-0 lead. Now Rogness trying to get some gain off the left side for the Crusaders. He is hit, fumbles, and Ray Bjorgi recovers for Mahnomen. Late in the first half, Eric Belanger, number 24, butts heads and takes his tacklers into the end zone. Mahnomen gains a 21-0 halftime lead. In the third quarter, it's Bellinger again bulling his way into the end zone. 28-0 Mahnomen. On this play, Miller gets his third touchdown of the day and goes over the 200-yard mark with a left side touchdown, 35-0 for the Mahnomen Indians. Miller completes the scoring with this long scamper down the right sidelines, his 4th touchdown, and as we said, a 252-yard performance. The 42-0 Mahnomen, the Class C champions. This has been a Prep Bowl memory.
Back live at this year's game, and if you follow Mankato Loyola, you like things a lot better here in 1992. The total yards about even, as it's been a very good first half. Played well by both teams. A slight edge to the Crusaders in the rushing department, 83-60 over Mahnomen. Passing, Mahnomen has the edge with those completions to Hudek, 48-35, and of course that all came on the big play to Andy Kolars for the lone Crusader touchdown. The teams are back on the field, getting a bit of a stretch before we start our second half of play.
Now this is a team in Mankato Loyola that has been itching to get back here, Jim, since last year, and since the highlights or lowlights, depending on whose side you were on, you got to see. This is a team that came away really smarting last year. It was one that felt that really that wasn't the true team that you saw. In fact, Jeff Deline said last year we didn't show what we could do. We want this rematch. He said that before the semifinal game last week, and they were not looking past that game by any means against Ogilvie, but they knew that if they won it, they'd be back at this, and they really wanted it.
I think his comments at halftime were very perceptive as well, saying, hey, we're just bigger and stronger this year. Yep. We can compete with them, and we've held our own on the line of scrimmage, and that's the key because Ken Bauman likes to play that smash face kind of football.
Yep.
Just shove it down your throat with his multiple weapons in the backfield. And so far, he hasn't been able to do that against the Crusaders.
Really has not been able to, and the Crusaders, I really like the concept of the radar defense, too, and we'll talk about it more here in the second half. With no down linemen, 8 on the line of scrimmage or near it, everybody up and everybody reading, and it's a permeating defense rather than a penetrating defense. And it works particularly well in high school ball. You'd probably get murdered doing that in college ball, or at least at most levels of college ball, because in high school ball, when you pull somebody, usually that's the way the ball is going to go, and you can read that and not get burned. And you can see where that would be a large problem if you tried to do that in college or the pros. But the good old radar defense has been now down at Mankato Loyola for several years.
I don't know why that I would seem the way that most people coach, it's that you don't want to get back on your heels on defensive line. You want to be able to get that push. So I'm sure it's a stand-up position with the emphasis that don't get caught back on your heels. You got to come forward.
When you watch how they set up, they're in a semi-crouch, knees bent, probably weight on I would think the balls of the feet probably, and the hands up. So they're ready to go, rather quickly. And I really like the concept of it, and it has seemed to be effective. And it is interesting against Mahnomen's old straight-ahead style too, as you talked about, meeting smash face with a little bit of a different concept. I've got to say that one of the most interesting booster signs I've ever seen is in the Metrodome here. You won't be able to get a view of it on a camera, but the Mahnomen Indians, and it says Indian football, get used to it. Get used to it. You got to like it. And a lot of teams have got used to it the wrong way. Mankato Loyola gathered around Jeff Deline, the head coach. He inherited a very fine football tradition from Jim Korth 4 years ago. Korth was the coach down there for quite a while. He had over 200 wins. And Jeff didn't change a whole lot systems-wise. The radar had been installed by Korth the year before he left. And they kept it and just kind of refined the process a little bit. And things worked well.
They're going to go right to the radar here to start the second half as the Crusaders will kick off individually in the first half. Josh Atchley's leading ball carrier in the game, 8 attempts for 35 yards for Mankato Loyola. Leading ground gainer for Mahnomen has been Yost, a 140-pound scat back who has 6 carries for 29 yards.
Todd Simonet kicks off. Brandon Yost and Jamie Troutner in double safety. Yost has the ball at the 12, and on the reverse it's Jamie Troutner stopping at the 15. Got away from a tackle. Here goes Troutner, 30-yard line, and got nailed finally just inside the 35-yard line on a great little reverse by the special teams. Andy Bierling is the guy who brought him down.
Well, actually, they had the reverse covered pretty well. I don't think they fooled him. The got over there in position, but there was a couple of good blocks, and he cut back and found a little opening, and maybe that reverse did throw them off their stride enough so that they couldn't get to the near sideline as quickly as they wanted to. But they bring it out. Good field position for Mahnomen.
25-yard return. Now 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line.
Fumble. Ooh, he got back on it quickly.
Yeah.
He never really had that handoff.
No damage done on the handoff, where it's a matter of timing or touch or something somewhere down there. Tony Athman, the fullback. Now watch this.
He never quite has it, but is able to fall right on it.
That is Brandon Yost, 40, not Athman, 30. Brandon Yost, number 40. Early second half, 7-7 game, 2nd and 9 from Mahnomen at its own 36-yard line. Troutner to the right side. They will give it to Brandon Yost. And he will be met there by Pete Manichek, the senior linebacker, to lead the way for the Mankato Loyola Crusaders.
Well, they want him in 3rd and long, and that's what they've got. We'll look for that right side pass formation again. The 3rd time they ran that pass play with the 2 receivers to the right, as we'll see it coming up here again. It didn't fool the Crusaders at all. They were in position to cover both the 2 deep receivers and the back out of the backfield.
3rd and 9 at the 36-yard line. Hyder throwing and in and out of the hands of Alan Hodek, the senior wide receiver at the 49-yard line. Hodek, number 89, was covered by Matt Rogers, the junior defensive end. As you can see, Hodek is injured.
Looks like the wind, perhaps, the way he's writhing on the ground. I don't see any. He got hung up on the line of scrimmage a little bit. Hodek started as the right side tight end on this formation. Was able to get up and get his hands on it, but could be didn't look like he got hit or fell particularly hard on the turf. And that's going to force an official's timeout on the play while they attend to Hodek.
There's a timeout on the field with 10:15 to go in the 3rd quarter. It's Mankato Loyola 7, Mahnomen 7.
Left ankle.
10:15 to go in the 3rd quarter. It is a 7-7 game. Mankato Loyola and Mahnomen. Now 4th and 9 at the 36-yard line. And the punt will be got away by Spaeth.
Good kick.
And a fair catch. It was a good kick. A fair catch at the 23-yard line by Matt Rogers. And the play will begin there.
Saw Hodek a moment ago on the sideline there, tending to him there, taking off the left shoe and sock. Looks like the left ankle, maybe up in the calf or knee region. We'll keep you posted on whether Hodek is able to come back in this game or not.
Our guess is he must have just come down wrong on one of the either the foot or the ankle. 1st and 10 at the 23-yard line, and keeping it simple, Loyola stays on the ground. 10 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter of a 7-7 game. There's another look at Hodek.
What's the right leg?
The right leg being wrapped up, so maybe a minor sprain there. You saw on the replay there really was no indication of what it could be, and so that's usually a pretty good guess. Just come down wrong on it somehow. 2nd and 8 at the 25-yard line. Rogness will keep. Sweeping at the 30. Cutting back. Wrapped up. There's a pitch. Fumble! It is Loyola's ball. The pitch went to Josh Ashley, and it seemed like a good idea at the time, apparently, as Rogness went to pitch it back, but he was unable to do anything with it in terms of accuracy, and Ashley was hit right away.
That was good thinking, probably a bad situation for Rogness. They're faked, completely got the end to take the pitch man, and he cut it back upfield. Now he's got his leg trapped. He thinks he's going to give it off to Ashley, but Ashley not ready for it, and luckily it bounced right back into the hands.
Rogness got it right back. It's 1st and 10 at the 34-yard line. Big pursuit on Josh Ashley, and he is down. Tony Athman and Chad Flackney had him there, the defensive ends and tackles on the left side.
I think it's evident that Mahnomen talked about that dive play
Yes.
at halftime. They've made some different adjustments in there, and they've snuffed it out. Sniffed it, then snuffed it the first
Sure.
2 times they've run it here in the
And
second
then
half.
just snipped it. That's all it was. 8:25 to go. Speaking of snipped,
Don't let your child come home this way.
do not try this at home. 2nd and 9 at the 35. Rogness unloads. Heavy traffic and incomplete on the way to Andy Kolars, who was in double coverage on the left side on that pattern. George Spaeth was half of that double coverage, and Kolars, who made one that looked for sure like it was either intercepted or broken up, complete for a touchdown earlier. Didn't happen here.
Well, we see that that's the major part of Loyola's passing attack, is to get it up there where Kolars has a chance to compete for it with his athleticism. But it hasn't worked. But the one time was a big play. But when Rogness is able to roll right and get set, he throws it better than when he's rolling to his left.
Loyola only 2 of 7 on 3rd down conversions. It's 3rd and 9 now. Screen complete to Fogle. Got through, penalty marker. Fogle at the 40. Fogle at the 45. Bouncing and rolling and down at the 47. There was a penalty marker back at the 33-yard line. Mike Luxick, the defensive end, made the tackle. But there was a penalty marker behind, and it is a clip on Loyola.
A block from behind. Number 62, Chad Sweep, is the man who was fouled against. He was moving into position from his linebacker spot to get a run at that screen when he was cut down. And the Crusaders will have 3rd and extra long.
That was a great little piece of running in all kinds of traffic. But now they'll walk it way back to the 19-yard line.
Now they'll probably just be careful that they don't turn it over and try to kick it out of danger and rely on the defense.
8 minutes, 2 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. Mankato Loyola 7, Mahnomen 7.